Why are Jews all over the world fasting today? Today is the 17th day of the Hebrew month of Tammuz, and it's a day that commemorates many things. The most intense is this is the day, 2,000 years ago, where the besieging Romans crashed through the walls, marking the beginning of the last 3 weeks of the Temple of Jerusalem. There was mass slaughter following from tonight, blood of Jews being spilled in the streets, and in 3 weeks' time it culminates in the anniversary of the day when the temple that stood on this Temple Mount over here was burned and destroyed. The rabbis tell us that these 3 weeks came because of the sin of baseless hatred. People who hate one another without a basis whatsoever, and ultimately all hatred is rooted in baselessness. But there's another cause. And this is really important because we ask, okay, so we love to baselessly love one another, but how do we do it? We're humans and we struggle. We get jealous of people. They see the world differently to us. We get into conflicts. We think they're the aggressor. They think we are. And the secret lies in the first ever 17th day of the month of Tammuz, which took place thousands of years earlier, 3,300 years ago. The Israelites worshipped the golden calf. What's one got to do with the other? Why did they worship a golden calf? God had revealed himself at Sinai in the Torah's story, and Moses would go up there for 40 days. They miscalculated. They thought he's never going to come down again. But they'd heard God say, I'm God, don't worship anyone but me. Why did they make a golden calf? And the answer is, what was a calf? In the ancient world, a calf meant the blessings of God. You see, if you had cows, you had meat, you had milk. If you had an ox, you could plow your field. Calf, cow, these were the signs of wealth. These were God's blessings to us. And the people looked at God and said, we worship you to the extent to which you bless us. The base of their worship was God. You fulfill all the things I ask for, so I worship you. And when they don't have an intermediary like Moses, they say, well, let's take something that symbolizes God's blessings to us and worship them. What was wrong with that? And what's that got to do with baseless hatred? Absolutely everything. Because if our paradigm of worship is what is God doing for me, then the real object of worship is me, not God. Really, it's a way of worshiping ourselves. God, here's our prayer list. Here's the mitzvahs. Here's the good things we'll do, provided you offer to us. Well, then the most important thing in existence is not God, it's me. And that egotistical self-centeredness means the way I see the world is the truth. And that will have all of us colliding with one another, and all of us coming to be jealous of one another, conflicting with one another, lead to baseless hatred, crumble the unity of the nation, and make it impossible for us to ever be a home of God. And so the rabbis say every single year, let's cry about both these things. Let's put God back at the center, not ourselves, and say, God, it's not what you're doing for us. Of course, we're grateful for all your blessings. Absolutely. Of course, we pray for things. Absolutely. But the center of our reality is you, creator of this whole universe, who loves everyone in it. And our mission is to wake up every day and say, God, not what can you do for me? What can I do for you? What can I do to be a blessing for you? And then I recognize that my perspective is not complete. And someone I'm in conflict with, I need to see it from their perspective. And then I have the ability to recognize they're imperfect, I'm imperfect, and that's why we collide. But there's a deeper level where they are beloved to God and I am beloved to God, and we can all become one. And so every year, the 17th of Tammuz, we cry. We cry over the fact there is no unifying home of God in the world. And we cry over the fact that we've hated one another and torn each other to pieces. And we, first the nation of Israel and ultimately all mankind, are meant to be the home of God. What makes us love one another and make that home of God is, can we put God at the center of our world? Remove our self-centeredness, bring about God-centeredness. And so our tears at the pain of that are meant to be transformative, lift us, and help us individually and together to bring healing to the world.